Hey, what's up, guys? Folks, we are truly witnessing history here, and I cannot believe what we are seeing. We may very well see the first financial influencer. We may very well see the first financial influencer make himself into a billionaire based on his own following, basically using his following to make a lot of money. And it's about to turn this guy into a billionaire. Folks, I am talking about Roy and Kitty, and I'm talking about Gamestop stock. Let's go ahead and talk about GameStop real quick. Number one, GameStop went up earlier in the week. Matter of fact, last week. Then it went down, and now today it's up 47%. And it's all centered around one man. You talk about the song by Kanye, no one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hours. That is this guy. This guy has an insane amount of power. If you don't believe me, let's break this down, okay? So if you look at the Roaring Kitty tracker, this guy bought $68 million worth of options calls in GameStop. That $68 million is now $300 million. And they're even saying that if GameStop gets to about $70, $80 a share, this guy will have made $1 billion. He will essentially make himself a billionaire. Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. First, we got to talk about why GameStop was up 47% in one day. You want to know why GameStop was up 47% in one day? Obviously, we ultimately truly don't know. That's the truth. Obviously, we can speculate. Ultimately, who really knows? But the bottom line is, this is what people are saying. Everybody is saying that the reason why GameStop went up 47% today is because Roy and Kitty is live streaming. Because Roy and Kitty scheduled a live stream, GameStop went up 47%. That is an insane amount of power to have. And to know that you have that kind of pool that you can literally say, okay, let me load up on GameStop. Let me load up on all these options calls and all this other stuff. And then after I load up on everything, let me just go ahead and just start posting stuff and coming out of hiding. Because remember, this guy disappeared for like 3 years. Coming out of hiding, and let me schedule a live stream. Let's be honest, folks. You're telling me that you don't think this guy knew that him scheduling a live stream for the first time in 3 years wasn't going to make the stock go up? He knows this because he's already been doing it. He's been posting memes and tweets and showing his position on Reddit. Every time this guy posts something, GameStop goes up. Every single time. It's crazy. It's just like Elon Musk back in 2021 when Dogecoin went to the moon and a lot of people became millionaires off of that. Well, not a lot, but a few. Elon Musk, every single time he would post something about Dogecoin, it would go up. Elon Musk got to the point where he knew that. I personally think that Elon Musk used that to make himself more money. That's my opinion. I could be wrong, but we later did find out that Elon Musk holds a position in Dogecoin. Just saying. Okay? All right, let's get to the crazy stuff here. So, yeah, this is essentially what everybody's saying is the reason why GameStop went up 47% today. It's because Roaring Kitty's doing a live stream. Now, in my opinion, when Roaring Kitty actually goes live, which will take place on June 7th, in my opinion, when he does that, GameStop's going to go up again, and this guy is going to benefit, okay? Now, back to what I was saying. Oh, yeah, by the way, Massachusetts Secretary of State is investigating Roaring Kitty's GameStop trades. We'll talk about that in a minute. But let me go back to this whole billionaire thing. The fact that this guy, because I actually think GameStop probably will go to 70, 80 bucks. I think so. I definitely think it's going to go over 50. But, if you ask me, do you think GameStop could go to 70 or 80? And you want my honest opinion? Yeah, I think it can. The fact that this guy just has to freaking tweet and post memes and go live and the thing shoots up 47%. Yeah, I think this guy can single-handedly get it to 70, 80 bucks. I absolutely believe that. Now, that does not mean I'm saying you should buy GameStop. I actually don't think you should. I think that's not wise, but I'm not even going to get into that. I'm just going to say, me personally, I'm not touching it. I'm not buying GameStop. I am going to be a sideline watcher. I am going to spectate and watch from the sidelines of what the heck ends up happening with this and watch the fact that this influencer on Twitter and YouTube is essentially going to make himself into a billionaire because of his own influence, because of his following. He's going to make himself into a billionaire. Craziest thing ever. It's already crazy that he's already made $300 million from his options calls, okay? All right, let's talk about something else. So, well, we're talking about the same thing, but we're going to react to this little video because I disagree with him here. And, yeah, for those who don't know, this is Stock Mo. I've made videos criticizing him before. I think he's one of the worst and dumbest financial influencers on YouTube, but that's not what today's video is about. Today's video is about, he made a video about GameStop, and he said something that I just do not agree with. So let's go ahead and play it, and I'll give my reaction. Here we go.
Personally, I don't know how the SEC, FINRA, and everybody's going to look at this, but it's no different than the big brokerage houses doing the same thing, saying we just bought these options, these stocks, and then releasing it to public, because ARK does that all the time, right? They do it all the time. I get an email because I love following what they're doing. I love seeing what Berkshire Hathaway's doing. And I only get to see that once every 90 days. So he's doing nothing different than what a hedge fund would do. And so to me, I see.
Okay, I 100% disagree. So he's essentially saying, because remember, he's talking about this article right here where the Massachusetts Secretary of State is investigating Roy Kitty because of the GameStop trades. They're basically investigating him for like market manipulation. And so Stockmo is defending Roy Kitty. And he's basically saying that what he's doing is no different than Warren Buffett buying a stock. And as soon as it gets disclosed that Warren Buffett bought the stock, you know, the stock goes up 5-6% for the day because all the other retail people are buying it just because Warren Buffett bought it. And same thing with Cathie Wood, and same thing with X and X hedge fund. Like, for example, you know, some of the stocks that maybe like Stanley Druckenmiller buys, you know, there'll be retail investors who will buy that, so it temporarily goes up. Here's why I disagree. Reason why I disagree is because these hedge funds and Cathie Wood and Warren Buffett, they will buy a stock and then they don't talk about it for the most part. They'll just buy it. People will see the disclosure that they bought the stock and then they'll buy it. To me, that is completely different than you, Roaring Kitty, buying a stock and then you start tweeting. To me, that's a little different. Also, Warren Buffett and Cathie Wood and these hedge fund people, normally when they disclose a position, they don't sell for at least a few quarters if they sell, for the most part, okay? So it's a little different. Actually, I'm not even going to say Cathie Wood because Cathie Wood tends to trade pretty often. So we're just going to do Warren Buffett and some of these other long-term hedge fund people. When Warren Buffett buys a stock, he typically holds it for a pretty long time, at the very least a few quarters, if not longer. He's not buying a stock and then selling it right when it goes up. My worry with Roaring Kitty, because you guys know my opinion, I absolutely think, whether it's legal or not, I think that he's doing this on purpose. I think that he bought the options calls, bought the shares, whatever. Obviously, people are going to say, well, he's held the shares for years now. He had in 2024. Okay, fine. Let's just talk about the new options calls that he bought. He bought those before he started to tweet. He bought those from what I understand, while he was in the middle of tweeting and while he's tweeting more, and he bought those before he went live. You cannot tell me that this guy didn't know that had he tweeted anything about it or said anything or talked about it in any kind of way, it wouldn't go up. He absolutely knows that. So in my opinion, where you get into the legality part, the market manipulation stuff, is when exactly will he sell? Well, let's think about it. His calls expire June 21st. So if you put two and two together, I don't see how you can't really argue that he didn't know what he was doing. He is making a short-term trade to make a lot of money, and he is leveraging and using his following to essentially, I don't want to call it market manipulation, but to enrich himself. I don't know what you want to call it. Some people might argue it's market manipulation. Some people might not. What I'm arguing here is he is using his following to enrich himself. That is exactly what he's doing. That's why he bought those short-term options calls. And now he's doing all these theatrical things. He's tweeting the reverse Uno card and all these different memes. And now he's about to go live. If we go back and click, now he's doing a live stream where he's going to go live for the first time in like 3 years. None of this stuff is by coincidence. I need people to use their brains here. This all is by coincidence. Why is he just all of a sudden randomly coming out of nowhere after 3 years and after, completely being silent on his YouTube as well? It's because he knows it's going to make himself money. Now, Again, some people probably don't care about that. Some people probably see this guy as a hero. I understand. That's pretty dang crazy that this guy is essentially about to turn $65 million into $1 billion, because he literally bought, some short-term options calls, and he's going to do whatever he can, in my opinion, to bump the stock. Whatever he got to do, he's going to do it. He clearly knows what he needs to do to get his audience to buy the stock, or the apes, or the Gamestop community, whatever. No matter how you slice it, this guy is 100% using his following to enrich himself, and we know this because he has GameStop options calls that expire on June 21st. So for the most part, he's very likely going to sell before then, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. I think before June 21st, he's going to take some of those profits, and the guy's going to walk away with like at least $500 million. The guy's going to be rich. So crazy story, but I just wanted to give you guys the update on this and kind of what my thoughts are on this entire situation, and just like how crazy this is. Now, in terms of the investigation with Massachusetts, I don't know if they're going to get him. They probably won't. Normally these guys get away with this type of stuff. That's just how it goes. But it'll be very interesting to see what happens as things continue to escalate. And I will be sure to give you guys the updates on what happens, because this whole situation is absolutely insane. And if this guy becomes a billionaire, I got to admit, that's pretty dang crazy. Anyway, that's today's video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.